myself trying to get everything up and running. But yep, here we go. So, like I said, I've not seen... Wait, this is Citadels, so it looks like I've actually missed a game, unfortunately. So, it looks like we're actually on game 2 of the series, as we are on Citadels here. We have Egyptians versus the Hittites, so apologies again for missing the first game. I'll try and make up for that in a moment, so we can maybe quickly fit that in at some point. Yeah, like I said, don't exactly know what the drafts are, but Egyptians and Hittites, two of the, well, more often seen civs, very high tier picks for this map. And it'll be interesting to see what the approach is from both players. Obviously, the Hittites, without the slinger, don't really have the option of going for an aggressive play early on. Egyptians technically do still have that option, though their Stone Age isn't the strongest, so it usually is best to just go for the Bronze Age for both of these civilizations. And then it's just a matchup of the chariots versus the chariots. And obviously the Hittites very scary in that position, but the Egyptians have their own tools as well. So actually Unrestricted is going up at 20 vils, and the villager is going to come forward. I don't think, yep. Villager not spotted. Villager just spot the wall. Not enough wood for the barracks just down, but it looks like Unrestricted is going to go for some sort of aggressive play. We're coming at 2 times speed. I will slow down as soon as the real action kicks off. But it looks like, yeah, 24 vils up for Song, which is, of course, Blackwoltz in this series. So he's going for the more standard, fast bronze. And yeah, second barracks already coming down and working in to help those axes. One club on the field. Maybe going to spot this out, so maybe we'll just slow it down a little. Maybe I'll keep double speed just for the time being. And third barracks, obviously going to get those slingers pumping as well. And Blackwoltz a little bit shy on food, but he does have plenty of wood to get those 2 buildings down straight away. Just add in a couple of villages as well. Okay, I'm actually going to slow this down. Small wall is researched. We're going to wall it behind the gate here. So yeah, slingers are going to be in now, but I think Blackwoltz has done enough to sort of wall up behind there yet. That wall there is a little bit weak, but enough sort of being done on it. Only 98 on that wall, but should slow Unrestricted out down plenty. Like I said, Song's still a little bit short on the food. He's got, yeah, his elephant's just running out, and he's not really had time to get on his outer berries. He does have the second patch of berries that he has seen there, so he can always just get a granary on there. Although he's a little bit short on food, and it actually looks like, okay, Black Song is decided to cancel, well, not cancel, but give up on the plan for going to bronze. Is actually going to commit to making bows here. And with 7 slingers and stone mining already out there, bowman response not. I mean, he's going to be able to clear up some axes, and if he can get his trades with the bows, that'd be nice. But yeah, the slinger mass is going to be a little bit awkward for Song to deal with it. Market is going up now, and he just doesn't have villagers yet. The deer runs out. He's going to need to build a new granary on the berries for sure here. Although they must be going for these, yeah, for sure. There we go. Unrestricted with a good-sized army, though, pushing through the front of the base. Hello, Jesze. And again, apologies, everyone. I sort of a little bit delayed on joining the stream here, so we've missed game 1. So again, that's my bad. But yeah, Blackwoltz getting the wood working in now, so we can use that to try and outrange his opponent, but the wall is actually going to go down before then. Unrestricted actually switching up to the trades, yeah, with that stone mining in, these bows only going to be very limited in effectiveness. Song does have a good lead on the villager count, but the military massively favoured. A good little bit of micro, just trying to kite out with the bows now. He does have that +1 range advantage, and he's going to need to utilise that to its absolutely maximum effect to be able to try and win out here. Yeah, because any moment he stops, those slingers, you just get their grips on the bows. Axe are in on the wood line. Needlework is in, so a couple of axes shouldn't be too much of an issue. But this is already starting to look a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, Unrestricted is able to take his second berries there, so he's got a handful of farms. But it's starting to look like Song maybe in a spot of bother. And yeah, villagers going down. And I think it's always hard to know. Maybe Blackwoltz should have committed to just going to the bronze, but the push was very strong from Unrestricted. And yeah, that's one big weakness, like I said, over the Hittites, is you don't get the slinger in the tool age. It just gives you one less option to work with. Because really the unit he needed at that point was probably scouts, but then it's very hard to afford that once your initial plan was the fast bronze. And again, he's trying to utilize the extra range on the bows. But a slinger's going to get on the villagers again. And yeah, villager count now swinging complete opposite way in favour of Unrestricted here. And I think, yeah, Blackwoltz berries are run out. He has got some farm set up, but yeah, the game's just called. Unrestricted going ahead. I'm not exactly sure what happened in the first game. I mean, it just goes to show you can still get stuff done in the tool age. For the people that are saying this, it's not possible. We went Citadels, the second map, that it probably was Unrestricted that won the first map. I'm not 100% certain of that. We do see Calf against Phoenicians. Obviously, we had the Minoans banned, so we normally do see that Civ picked quite a lot on this map. Looks like Unrestricted did get himself up with a nice dock straight away. That's a very nice spot there with the 4 shorefish and the woodline. And dock came in pretty swiftly afterwards. And we'll go to the ×2 speed. Forward villager out from Unrestricted. In fact, from both play. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe Song just scouting his wood line a little bit. Looks like he did get the storage pit up at the start as well. Neither player actually with a granary. This can always create the awkward situation that once you hit tool age, you don't actually have that granary to be able to research the small wall tech, which can sometimes leave you a little bit vulnerable. So you do have to sometimes just actually remember to do that. Blackwoltz, actually both players adding in quite a few. Ooh, the forward villager does get spotted by Unrestricted here, so no forward shenanigans and that villager is going to go down. Song does know where his opponent is, but now Unrestricted is going to know as well. See, he sees the berries. Yep, there we go. And tool age coming in a lot earlier for Unrestricted, 20 vills to 20, and yeah, just a lot less idle time for Unrestricted here. So he's actually going to commit to a forward barracks. He did build one at home. That one's going to be used to research the AXA upgrade, which makes a good amount of sense. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to slow it down here because I think things are going to start heating up pretty quickly. Granary still not in for Song, so he does not have access to walls, which means he's not going to be able to fully seal us off. So I'm just trying to dock block here, so he has building walled overall. So he has kind of shut Unrestricted out for the most part on this side here. He has the fishing eco scout ship also in queue already. Unrestricted just on the single dock at the moment. Song about to build his second one. So yeah, watchtower maybe take a little bit of a leaf. That's interesting actually, watchtower first. And this is going to be a forward watchtower. I'm interested to see. Like a granary just got built literally just to get the tech in. Which, like, I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But no, it is actually a defensive watchtower. That's actually going to be quite nice against small scout ship raids. That means that like one scout ship won't just like completely annihilate the wood line. But Unrestricted actually is going to house Song here. So he's going to be forced to get more houses up. Does have plenty of villagers working away on the wood. That does mean it's going to limit the production on the water. couple of, actually just a Vil and a Clubber sort of for Song, just sort of a little bit out of place in the middle of the map there. But yeah, Unrestricted just happy to just chew his way through. This is obviously 30 wood investment each, and every time that happens, Song's got to replace one of these houses. A little bit of an army does spring out in defense here. Unrestricted still does have the numbers though. Just slinging axe, sorry, for both players. Actually, no, bows are being built up in the background as well for Song. But Unrestricted, yeah, has used this to sort of this chaotic early game. He's forcing his opponent to just keep his eco production going much more. Just correct him ahead. I think I'm gonna. Am I gonna commit to say? I think I will say it's 2-0. I've got a feeling it probably is. And yeah, these guys just going to walk straight into the tower here. So again, Blackwoltz does sort of, well, he didn't actually see any of the villagers, but he does see the pit, so he should know that that's where it is. But at the moment, it's full defense mode for Blackwoltz. So again, we see a little bit of an engage on the water here. In theory, the longer the tool age goes on, the more the Phoenician wood bonus should be favouring Song. But so you can already see that Unrestricted already got himself so much of a lead in this early game that extra economy bonus is not really going to be doing enough to help Blackwoltz out in this situation. Is that a little bit of a counter-attack on the wood line? Okay, yep, so he's Unrestricted is forced to move some of his villagers. Obviously that was the downside of putting the watchtower on the water lines. It defends a bit more against ships, but not as good as it against the land units. But now we have broken through. Small walls do get built up. I think a couple of villagers, actually looks like he focused down the bows. But yeah, a couple of villagers going to go down as the price hit. Blackwoltz on full defense mode. All his villagers, pretty much all of them are trapped in here. I don't think well, he had this one guy chilling out here, but I think that's probably dead now. Another tower going up on the wood. Unrestricted. But yeah, he's happy to just keep pushing through, just make sure he's not under too much threat here. As again, we see the push coming forward, but not any real resistance. Yeah, because Blackwoltz, majority of his army's in this little pocket here, not really doing much. Meanwhile, Unrestricted, right on top of his opponent's eco. All these villagers are forced to run. How many have we got here? 14. He's only got 4 ships on the water, and a whole bunch of scout ships are going to come around as well. So maybe even those ships aren't safe. And we've got another situation where somehow the artifacts got involved. And Blackwoltz has actually managed to kill 5 villagers. I don't know if that was on the wood line here. It's been a little bit chaotic since very early start of the game. But yeah, like I said, just, yeah, you can see from the idle TC time, Unrestricted's just been doing a much better job of keeping those villager production going, which is usually the case if you can force onto your opponent and they're not able to do much back to you. Another tower going up, so Unrestricted committing quite heavily to the tower defense, and yeah, these scout ships now. Blackwoltz does actually have a few of his own ships. One of them is quite heavily damaged though, so if Unrestricted notices this, which unfortunately doesn't look like he will do, or neither player. I mean, like I said, there's, oh, okay, this is probably why army does find the villagers on the top. And again, a whole bunch more eco kills. The slingers are probably, maybe going to be able to take down another villager, probably this one at the back here. No, actually. But yeah, they're just trying to run back into his base. The axe is just chilling here as well. And this is starting to look like Blackwoltz just has nowhere to hide, nowhere to run to. He's going to be able to take out the Axa, I imagine. Oh no, Needlework isn't in. Needlework isn't in, so this village, this village is just not even able to take the Axa down. And that is GG. And I believe that is 3-0. Like I said, unfortunately, we missed the first game, so apologies for that, everyone. Yeah, so I'm going to try get ourselves jumped in. So this was game 1, and again, I said a lot of times, so it might be annoying, but apologies again for the slightly late start to the stream. So we did miss the game 1 hit. So we know the winner of this game, but I just thought it'd be interesting to just make sure we've seen all the actual gameplay. But yeah, interestingly, it was the Romans versus the Assyrians here. So actually, the Lakviat and Shang that both got picked in the first round of the draft actually didn't see play in this series. Although sometimes that's the case where you just want to save those strongest civs for important games, and then that game, if it's a bit one-sided series, which unfortunately this one has been, you just don't actually get the chance to use those civs. Looks like Unrestricted did find those elephants first. Blackwoltz just a little bit slow there. See if he couldn't actually interrupt the villager. Well, I think I would have liked Blackwoltz to have sat the villager at the top of the hill and just get a couple of bonks in on the villager there. And just try and block the villager off. Where are the other central elephants? Did he spot that one there? He did spot this one here. And if he goes... Yeah, I think probably the wisest thing to do is just cut your losses and go for the one. The Assyrian villagers are slightly faster, so you can do that exploration a little bit more quicker. It kind of feels like he was trying to click here, like his mouse here, and the auto pathings, the pathings just sent around this way. So actually, by sheer chance, you might find that second and central elephant. Obviously, at this point, Unrestricted's already brought his elephant back home. Okay, so actually, Blackwoltz does find both of the other elephants. But yeah, like I said, a lot more just idle villager time for this villager just walking around all this time. As in, the villager not actually collecting any resources, is what I mean by that. And Gazelle's spot here, so maybe the storage pit might just go up around here for Unrestricted. Obviously, it doesn't quite have the wood just yet. Roman bonus of the 10% cheaper buildings means that storage pit is a little bit quicker to come down usually. And like I said, we do know the result of this game already, so I might just fast forward the early game. And Blackwoltz hasn't quite found his other elephants there. And it looks like Unrestricted maybe already sending a villager forward. Storage pit going up at the front for Blackwoltz. He's not actually pushed his Gazelle yet, which can be the undoing of some players. Obviously, it's a lot harder to get the Gazelle later in the game where you're having to focus much more of your attention and APM in other parts of the game. He still hasn't found that other elephant as well, whereas Unrestricted, I think he does have all of his elephants in yet. Forward villager. This does find the stone pile and the gold pile. Should know he's in the right spot. He actually just places the barracks straight down after seeing that. Barracks will actually go up first for Blackwoltz. Both players about up at the same time, just a little bit further ahead for Unrestricted. Both players have won 20 vills, only 5 seconds lead for Unrestricted. Second barracks, so it's just a classic 2 barracks forward, all in with the AXA play. And I think we're going to go back to real speed now. Triple barracks, okie dokie. So is this just going to be axe into sling, the classic return of Rome combination? This villager may, yeah, I think this third barracks is going to get denied, but 2 barracks is already up. Might just be worth deleting this barracks for Unrestricted now. Clubbers do come forward. Tool edge in for both players, obviously. Needlework in for Blackwoltz. And obviously, oh, actually, that's interesting to see that Unrestricted did get Needlework himself, even though he's not under any real pressure just yet. Maybe just to help keep some extra health on that forward villager as well. Villager's forced to jump in the TC. And Bowman out in defense, but that's when the Slingers, that's where phase 2 of the forward comes in. Slingers should be able to get some damage in, but Villagers, yep, boning down the AXA with that Needlework upgrade in. They can do good damage there, and actually fairly robust response from Blackwoltz so far. It's just a clubber forward. I thought maybe for a second that might have been a Villager. But yep, 5 units on the field. Small walls to just close in the Lumberjacks at the moment. Blackwoltz doing it. Okay, got the Bowman a little bit confused there. No armor on the bows as well. Villagers being pulled to assist. One villager does go down. And bowmen are getting some decent shots, and the villagers need to try and take that slinger down. That'd be quite useful. So yeah, Blackwoltz doing okay in the defense, but this is just like a bit like the game 3 that we saw. It's like just the case where Unrestricted is completely unharmed back at home. Although it looks like Unrestricted hasn't had the resources just yet to get like the Vil production full going. He's only managed to take down 1 villager at this point. He actually did finish that 3rd barracks and added in the archery range as well, which means Unrestricted is going to be right on the limit of his food economy. And this is getting to the point where, yeah, the natural resources are running out. 51 on left on that berry there, but yeah, Blackwoltz does find another berry patch, which is quite nice for him. 3 villagers on stone is maybe a villager, possibly too many. I think it was because he was like controlling some of his like actual military units as well. I think if it was just like he was full focusing on the quick walls, I think it's just because he noticed too slowly, Thaya. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, quite close fight back and forth. But again, it's another situation where Song is a civilization that doesn't have access to the slinger. And when you don't have access to the slinger, it just makes these sort of like mid to late tool age fights so much more difficult, just because the slinger can act as a very nice front line to absorb your opponent's bowman damage. It's not even about just the damage they do, it's like I said, about the damage that they can take. And a tower at his opponent's base as well now from Unrestricted. And like I said, Song's done a pretty good job in this game of holding the position, but it's just one of those cases where just the trades are just ever so slightly going in Unrestricted's favour every time another villager goes down there. And a couple of villagers do go down. It's a nice play from Song to try and prevent the tower from going up on his base. But I think ultimately that's probably going to lead to the death of these 2 villagers. They don't quite get the kill themselves. Try and wrap around again. Again, these Assyrian villagers are a little bit quicker, so can try and run down the opponent. Oh right, yeah. Also, you didn't have. Yeah, that's another good point. That is. Yeah, I mean, you can quick wall without a wall. You can just do it with houses or whatever. It doesn't have to be a wall per se. So I think Thaya's point is still fair. But yeah. So yeah, that's how we missed game 1. It was only a 15-minute game. I mean, the house takes the same amount of damage as a wall does when you place it.